Have you ever wondered if the ghosts of World War II still speak through the airwaves? During the war, Allied radios crackled with secret transmissions, coded messages, distress calls, and eerie pulses no one could explain. Most were decoded and catalogued, but some refused to give up their secrets. They came from nowhere, repeated endlessly, and vanished without a trace. Tonight, we're tuning into the strangest of them all, 10 mysterious WWII signals that baffled codebreakers, defied logic, and may still echo somewhere in the static. Number 1. The Plymouth Ghost Transmission. Amidst the chaos of World War II, as darkness blanketed Europe, an eerie mystery began to unfold just off the coast of Plymouth, England. Picture this, a cold, moonlit night, the rhythmic sound of waves lapping against the hulls of ships, when suddenly the air is pierced by the mechanical clicks of Morse code. Night after night, Allied radio operators hunched over their equipment, translating that ghostly rhythm. V7TX. No one knew where it was coming from. Imagine the tension in the air. These skilled operators, usually so confident, now stumped, sending frantic messages back and forth, trying to pinpoint this enigmatic signal. It echoed across the frequencies, endlessly repeating like a haunting refrain. Was it a distress call? A coded message from a hidden enemy? The possibility consumed their thoughts. Sleepless nights and anxious days, each passing hour only intensifying their obsession. What's chilling is that the signal originated from the open sea, far from any known vessel. They pulled out every tool at their disposal, submarine sweeps, radar scans, even desperate dives into the depths below, and yet the source remained elusive, like a wisp of fog slipping through their fingers. Imagine diving into the depths, your heart racing as the darkness surrounds you, only to swim back up empty-handed. Then, just as it had begun, the signal silenced. No warning, no explanation. Was it something supernatural, or perhaps a sunken ship trapped beneath the waves, still echoing its last transmission from a watery grave? The questions lingered, feeding the lore that surrounds the infamous Plymouth Ghost Transmission. It's a reminder of how often the sea keeps its secrets, even when the desperate seek answers. Number 2. The Black Forest Signal. The second mystery we explore is known as the Black Forest Signal, a chilling enigma that dates back to 1941. In the depths of Germany's enigmatic Black Forest, a powerful coded signal began to transmit, one that didn't follow any known Axis encryption methods. Picture this dense, shadowy landscape with towering trees and an aura of ancient mystery. It set the perfect stage for something extraordinary to unfold. The signal emitted bursts of coded messages that eerily resembled repeating weather-like phrases, creating a dissonance that was more puzzling than informative. What could it all mean? Could these messages have been cries for help, or perhaps strategic communications disguised as weather reports? The intrigue deepens when you consider this. After World War II, Allied teams scoured the area, looking for answers. They combed through the thick woodland, searching for any electronic equipment or a record of the station that might have been transmitting that bizarre signal. Strangely enough, they found nothing. No equipment and no trace of a broadcasting station. Just silence. But that silence was pierced by local folklore. Villagers recounted hearing radio voices with no source during that time, voices that seemed to float through the trees and echo through the valleys, igniting fear and curiosity. Can you imagine living in a place where whispers of ghostly broadcasts filled the air? The unsettling thought that these strange sounds came from nowhere and everywhere must have been haunting. In essence, the Black Forest Signal remains one of the unexplainable echoes of history, merging the realms of war, technology, and the supernatural, leaving us to wonder what really happened in that forest. Number 3. The Arctic Station Echo. As we dive deeper into the mysteries of the Arctic, we find ourselves captivated by the enigmatic whispers of the Arctic Station Echo. This rhythmic pulse, a sound captured by weather stations in both Iceland and Greenland, has left researchers and enthusiasts alike scratching their heads for decades. Picture this: it's the mid-20th century and the world is strung tight in the Cold War. In the vast, desolate expanses of the Arctic Circle, a sound emerges that seems almost otherworldly, a pulse that resonates with an eerie regularity. Those who first intercepted these signals didn't know what to make of them. The Soviets, known for their high-tech advancements during that era, were quick to deny any involvement. Could it have been a top-secret operation? Meanwhile, the Germans lacked any established bases so far north, adding to the bewilderment of this muffled communication echoing through the ice. Imagine how this uncertainty must have fueled the imaginations of scientists and conspiracy theorists alike. The questions multiplied. Were we hearing the chatter of a lost expedition, or perhaps an automated transmitter that had quietly slipped beneath the thick layers of ice? With a world fascinated by space and the unknown, this echo turned into something of a modern-day folklore, a mystery woven into the very fabric of our understanding of Arctic exploration. As physics took a turn, modern researchers began to propose theories that shifted the narrative. Some suggested that these pulsating sounds might just be the product of ionospheric reflections, bouncing signals back down to Earth. Others still clung to the idea of a lost transmitter, perhaps left behind by those brave enough to venture into the icy unknown. As we explore the vast history of the Arctic Station Echo, one can't help but feel a connection to the past, a shared curiosity that drives us to seek out the truths hidden beneath the mysterious ice shelves. So, what do you think? Was it simply atmospheric trickery, or a relic of a more profound secret waiting to be uncovered? The beauty of the Arctic remains not just in its icy majesty, but in the echoes of its past, inviting us all to uncover its secrets. Number 4. The Phantom Convoy Frequencies. Imagine sitting at a listening post in the Atlantic in 1943, surrounded by the cold, dim light of flickering radio equipment. You're tasked with monitoring naval communications, but something strange comes through the static. Chatter fills the air, voices discussing ships, routes, and urgent missions. The jargon is spot on, and the call signs are unmistakably British. The catch? No convoys matching those descriptions existed. This eerie phenomenon would later be dubbed the Phantom Convoy. It felt almost like a ghostly echo of a maritime world that wasn't there. Experts today are still baffled. Some suggest it could have been a cunning German disinformation tactic aimed at confusing Allied forces. But what's astonishing is that it could have even fooled their own allies. Picture the sheer disbelief of those listeners, piecing together an auditory puzzle that seemed to stretch reality. This bizarre occurrence reminds us of the fog of war and how easily truth can be obscured, even with a mere transmission. What would you make of such a mystery? Number 5. The Unclaimed M signal. Imagine flipping through the radio dial late at night, hoping to catch a glimpse of something extraordinary. That's what shortwave monitors were doing in the late 1940s when they stumbled upon a curious phenomenon, the Unclaimed M signal. It all started with a single, unmistakable tone, the letter M. Shortwave enthusiasts noted how this tone was like a siren call, cutting through the airwaves only to be followed by a chaotic flurry of static bursts. What makes this M signal so intriguing is the fact that it was heard globally, a ghostly whisper weaving in and out of radio frequencies. Sometimes it would even weave through the already busy airwaves of Allied forces, adding to the mystery. Analysts scrambled, formal teams were assembled, and each attempt to decrypt the signals led to more questions than answers. Was this a coded message from the Soviets? Or maybe something entirely different, a rogue operator experimenting with radio magic? Despite the intrigue, hard evidence remained elusive. The prevailing theory rested on a shaky foundation, the assumption of Soviet involvement. Yet as time marched on, no trace of operatives or intentions ever surfaced. and just as suddenly as it appeared, the M signal faded from the airwaves by 1948, leaving behind only echoes of what could have been. It serves as a reminder of the enigmatic world of radio signals, an invisible thread connecting people, countries, and perhaps a hidden truth lost to time. Number 6. The Pacific Phantom Network. As American operators stationed in the Philippines began to monitor their surroundings, they stumbled upon something quite unsettling: the Pacific Phantom Network. This wasn't just any ordinary radio chatter, it was a puzzling mix of encrypted communications that echoed through the airwaves. The formats resembled those used by Japanese operators, yet the call signs didn't match. Intrigued and a little perplexed, the Americans decided to decode the signals, hoping for some vital intelligence. But what they uncovered was far from enlightening. Instead of strategic orders or planned maneuvers, the decoded messages came out as pure gibberish. Imagine the frustration they felt, sitting on the edge of their seats, believing they'd cracked a code only to be met with incoherence. Picture them exchanging puzzled glances, questioning if they were onto something big or merely chasing shadows. When they managed to capture some Japanese officers, these men were as baffled as the Americans. When confronted about these mysterious frequencies, they promptly denied any knowledge, throwing even more fuel onto the fire of intrigue. It was as if the signals were echoing through a haunted jungle, distantly mocking their efforts. In the years following the war, some reports emerged that offered a different perspective. Speculation grew that these enigmatic signals might have originated from unmanned transmitters, left carelessly running in abandoned jungle outposts. Consider the implications of that: a technological ghost town, relics of a fierce conflict, still sending out signals into the ether. The profound silence of those jungles was punctuated by echoes of the past, lingering reminders of a war that had long since ended. It's a haunting image, technology that outlasted its creators, whispering secrets into the wind, waiting for someone to understand. Number 7. The sudden silence of April 1945. As the dust of war began to settle over Europe in April 1945, a chilling phenomenon emerged from the chaos. Just days after Hitler's death, Allied monitors detected an eerie silence blanketing numerous mysterious radio stations. In a span of just 24 hours, dozens of these stations, some previously buzzing with transmissions, abruptly ceased operations. Imagine the atmosphere as operators on both sides scrambled to decode this sudden quiet, a moment that felt like a long-held breath being released, somehow both relieving and unsettling. What makes this silence particularly haunting is the fact that, despite their fervent activity before the fall of Berlin, these stations vanished without any clear explanation. Who were these voices in the ether? What messages had they been broadcasting in the shadow of war? British archives hinted at a coordinated termination, suggesting that this was no random retreat. Rather, it felt orchestrated, as if they were all responding to a single, unseen command. Picture the fear and uncertainty among those hearing this news. Was it a coordinated surrender, a sign of defeat? Each silent station left behind whispers of what once was, leaving historians puzzled and forever asking, who held the reins of that final broadcast? As the war drew to a close, these unanswered questions lingered in the minds of those who witnessed the transformation from clamor to quiet, emphasizing the complex tapestry of human communication even in the face of devastation. Number 8. The Ionian Transmission. As the war raged on in 1944, something mysterious stirred beneath the surface of the Ionian Sea. Allied ships began picking up strange coded broadcasts that sent their linguists and codebreakers into a frenzy. At first glance, these messages appeared to be written in ancient Greek letters, an intriguing puzzle that whispered of lost histories. But the deeper they delved, the more baffling it became. Was this an intelligence operation, or merely gibberish sent out into the ether? Imagine the tension in those ships. Night after night, the air would crackle with anticipation as experts hunched over their equipment, hoping to unlock a code that might just turn the tide of the war. Families drove these men. They weren't just decoding messages, they were racing against time, driven by the hope to protect loved ones back home. Then, in 1952, the broadcasts returned, as ghostly as the stories that haunt our sleepless nights. But just as mysteriously as they appeared, they vanished again, leaving behind a trail of questions. What were those broadcasts? Were they a warning or a plea? Decades later, the Ionian transmission still lingers in our minds, an echo of history that invites us to ponder the mysteries that humanity has yet to unravel. Number 9. The Sahara Signal. As we dive into the mystery of the Sahara Signal, imagine standing under an endless sky, the heat radiating off the sand, feeling both isolated and yet somehow connected to the greater unknown. This enigmatic signal was detected by both French and British monitoring stations during the late 20th century, creating a wave of intrigue among scientists and enthusiasts alike. Picture this, a transmission that pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat echoing across the desolate sands of the Sahara. It wasn't just a random blip on the radar, it was a patterned signal that kept calling out, drawing researchers into its cryptic call. As teams worked tirelessly to pinpoint its origin, their calculations led them to the very heart of the desert. But here's where the story takes a twist. As search teams arrived at the coordinates, anticipation filled the air only to meet stark reality. Instead of a sophisticated transmitter, all they found was an abandoned outpost, half buried in the shifting dunes. The atmosphere shifted from excitement to bewilderment. How could something capable of such an extraordinary signal leave no trace? Even more perplexing was the melted sand around the area, giving the impression that some sort of extreme heat had seared its surface, leaving behind a landscape altered like a cosmic footprint. While scientists and skeptics debated the signal's origins, many couldn't shake the eerie sensation that something or someone was trying to communicate. Perhaps it wasn't just a technological anomaly, maybe it hinted at something deeper, a message from a distant past, or a whisper from the universe itself. The Sahara Signal wasn't just a mystery, it became a reflection of our own quest for connection amidst the vast emptiness of life. Number 10. The Forgotten Enigma Tape. Amid the vast sea of ciphers intercepted during World War II, one particular magnetic tape stands out, a relic from a covert world, labelled simply as Unsolved Priority. This tape has puzzled cryptologists and historians alike for decades. Unlike the famous Enigma or the equally notorious purple code used by the Japanese, the encrypted message within this tape utilizes an entirely unknown system. Imagine dedicating years of your life to crack a code that refuses to yield any secrets. Each attempt feels like a step full of hope, only to lead to more dead ends. Some historians speculate that this might not even originate from either the German or Japanese forces. Instead, they hint at something entirely different, perhaps a secretive group or an enigmatic source that remains hidden in the shadows of history. This enigma taps into our collective curiosity. It's a reminder of the many secrets that lie undiscovered around us, hinting at stories waiting to be unveiled. What might it reveal if we could only unlock its meaning? As we close this chapter on ghostly echoes from the past, remember, history isn't just in books, it's in the airwaves too. Who knows, perhaps a signal from 1942 is still waiting just for you.